Hi, friends. I'm Scott Giles, and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnotic coaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences generally. If you want to know more about my professional work or sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Well, today I want to talk about the wisdom and the technique of living a values-driven life. Now, this is all prompted by the rise of what has come to be called values-based medicine, and I basically like the concept. My practice has a focus on health coaching, and so what's happening in the medical community is something I take note of and then look for other applications. So I thought I would explore this and see how it might be applied to daily life as well. Well, first, let me explain the medical stuff. For years, the buzzword in healthcare has been evidence-based medicine. And that means basing medical intervention strictly on evidence of what worked. If there was no empirical evidence for a treatment, it would not be done. It would not be done even if the patient wanted it done. It would not be done even if the insurance company was willing to pay for it. It would not be done even if the practitioner, in their clinical wisdom, thought it should be done. If the evidence wasn't there, that was that. Or at least that's the theory. Now, in practice, that's not how things went down. If the insurance company was willing to pay for it, the treatment would likely be done, even if the practitioner and everyone else thought it was irrelevant. Healthcare corporations, after all, are run by bean counters these days, and they don't miss the opportunity for a sale. And if a practitioner in their clinical wisdom really thought a treatment would be helpful, they usually find a way to do it. In most cases, evidence be damned. And I'm glad for that because part of my survival results from the off-label use of certain medicines that don't work for most but do work for me. I suspect the patient dissatisfaction with strict evidence-based medicine is what gave rise to the idea of values-based medicine, which focuses on the perceived value of a treatment as perceived by the patient. For example, relieving discomfort may make no difference in medical outcome, but the patient is much happier if they're comfortable than if they're in pain. So there is a value in relieving discomfort, even if that's not relevant to clinical results. The patient would have gotten better or not, regardless of pain relief interventions. But this creates kind of a different context for making medical decisions than medical outcomes and evidence alone. While it does pay attention to evidence, values-based medicine prizes patient satisfaction. This sort of medical practice is becoming common because, well, among other things, it saves money. A clinician might say we can do this expensive treatment or not, but the patient will be happier if we don't do it. So instead of throwing every chemotherapy drug at a cancer, for example, we might make decisions about what will produce the highest quality of life for the patient, even if that life might be shorter than if we did everything possible irrespective of life quality. People are simply happier when their values are respected. I know that were I to get to need extreme medical care, maintaining my clarity of mind and my sense of personal dignity would be something I would value more than maybe getting a couple of more weeks of life of crappy quality. And this is cheaper for the healthcare system too, as a lot of medical spending occurs at the end of life without much improvement in the quality of that life. So, moving now into a more general frame, what would a values driven life be like? Well, I suspect it's a happier and more satisfying life. Here is how it works. If you were to ask most people about what they need to do to keep their lives on track, they probably tell you about the importance of having goals. Specific things that you aim for. The goal setting process is the bread and butter of most business consulting, and they've even developed things like SMART goals, an acronym which stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And I agree, goals are good. I've got a goals page in my journal in fact, I've got one for my professional goals and another for my personal goals. And I review these every month. They are important. But there is something even more important than my goals, and that is my values. Let me explain. A goal is something you can put on a list and check off when you've achieved it. A value is something that you never check off, but should in some way be on or influence every list you create. The problem with orienting your life around goals, smart or otherwise, is that sometimes your ability to achieve a goal isn't entirely up to you. In order to achieve a goal, others have to do their part too in many cases. I mean, it makes no sense for a business to set aggressive sales goals if the whole sales team has just quit. It is a mistake to set a goal for a happy and fulfilling personal relationship if you're in a partnership with an emotionally damaged and deceitful person. There is a lot that can get in the way of achieving a goal through no fault of your own. There are a lot of things that you can't control that affect your ability to achieve goals. But you do control your values, and no one can get in the way of your values. Therefore, knowing your values is both more satisfying and more achievable than just setting goals. Now, values are different. A value is a principle that you believe in. Values are enduring, but most importantly, they do not require the cooperation of anyone else. You may have to wait and work on achieving a goal, but you can implement your values right now. For example, getting married and settling down into family life are goals. And that's great, but these goals require you locate and bond with a reasonable partner. These goals require that both you and your partner don't have any impediments to fertility or adoption. These goals require that you have economic security to support a family and to even pursue an intimate relationship because, dating is expensive. There are a lot of variables here that affect your ability to achieve those goals. However, if you set as your value having meaningful personal relationships, well, you can do that right now. Maybe you don't have a romantic partner, but you could have meaningful friendships or meaningful mentoring or professional relationships. Heck, you can strike up a meaningful short conversation with someone you just met in a bar. And even if it goes no further than that meaningful conversation, you've still achieved something you value. Knowing what you value and implementing your values in your day-to-day living results in a life that is uniquely yours, because your values are the stars you use to navigate through life. And you can always locate your guiding stars, and no one can stop you from doing that. Again, goals are great. You should have some. But values are essential to a fulfilled life. And you can always live a values-driven life if you want to, and you'll be happier if you do. Values are principles, and you can follow your principles right now. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It does help me if you let others know about my work and my videos, so please like, share, and subscribe. And if I can be of help to you, feel free to reach out through email, my website, or my Patreon channel. Have a great week.